Hey YouTube, and welcome to the MC's Music at the Core of Everything. So today we have a very special guest on the channel with us. She's a creative visionary who's known for her celebrity stylings and her whirlwind of a fashion journey that she wrote about in her book here, I Just Wanted to Be a Fashion Designer. Please welcome Maisha Davis.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yay! Of course, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And I had such an awesome time reading your book. It was honestly, well, I didn't really know what to expect when I started reading it. But it was really funny. It was really motivating and inspiring too. I didn't really expect to get that out of the book.
I'm glad you did. I think when people see the title, I Just Wanted to Be a Fashion Designer, you don't know what to expect. You don't really read a lot of books about necessarily the journey into fashion. Fashion books and novels usually are all about once you get there.
Right.
Right. So this book was just really about my journey attempting to have a career, and create a space for myself in that industry.
That's honestly what I really loved and related to with the book, because I'm a young person going through my journey, trying to find myself as an artist in my opera and singing career. And so seeing all of the highs and lows and all of the crazy adventures that led you to different opportunities, and how one thing when maybe you started didn't seem like it would really open doors for you, and then you made connections, that was really cool to read about.
Well, thanks. It was exciting to live, and I had a ball writing the book, and I'm glad that it was inspiring. I want it to be inspiring.
Awesome. So I have a question. So in the book you talk about your time in the book you call it Chase Records, but I guess it's also called LaFace Records.
LaFace Records, yes.
Yeah.
In the book, I purposely changed a lot of the names. I don't want nobody to get mad at me.
Right. I was like, I wonder who that really is. Yeah, there was some juicy stuff in there.
Thank you.
But I want you to just talk about your time at LaFace Records and kind of how that influenced your fashion career, sort of.
Sure. So I was in college in Michigan. I'm originally from Detroit, born and raised in Detroit. And I got accepted to Fashion Institute in New York. I got accepted to FIT. But my mom was very adamant about, you can only attend a school in Michigan. You can't leave the state. So after I did my time at my school in Michigan, it was just like, you know what, I'm out. I was like, I'm going to go and pursue the career that I really wanted. When I attempted to get into FIT a second time, I got accepted, but I wasn't offered housing, and I was just kind of scrambling. I knew I wanted to leave Michigan. I wanted to leave Detroit. I wanted to venture out on my own, and I did research and found a school in Atlanta, a fashion school in Atlanta. And when I let the admission counselor know, I got accepted to FIT. They didn't give me housing. She was like, oh, yeah, we have housing here in Atlanta. That's the least of your worries. And I was like, bet, sign me up.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. So I went to Atlanta. And as I was in fashion school, as I was in school and I'm finding my way and trying new things, I can be a bit of a risk taker, still am. And I was just like, well, I need to, just kind of find my way through this thing. So, and Atlanta was huge for music, not really fashion. And there was an internship at LaFace Records. And I applied for the internship and got the internship at the record label. So that kind of actually, in a strange way, or maybe in an unorthodox way, working at the record label started my career in fashion. because as I was interning, I would always wear clothes that I made. I was always trying to be as creative as possible as I could with my wardrobe. And a few of the people at the label took notice, specifically D.L. Warfield, Derek Warfield, who's a well known artist in Atlanta. And actually, he's had a lot of success as an artist. He took notice and talked to me about doing some wardrobe for some of the groups on the label, and that's how everything got started. Also, I want to make sure that I say that Miss Benjamin, Andre 3000, his mom, Miss Benjamin, I also did sewing work for her, which led me to begin to make wardrobe for Andre 3000 of Outkast. So being at the label, being at LaFace Records, because music wasn't my thing. Not that I don't love music, but I was not one of the people who wanted to be at the record label because I wanted to be an artist or because I could sing or be
Right.
a producer, A&R, anything like that. I didn't even know what half of that stuff was before I got to the label.
Mhm.
I just wanted to do something different and exciting. And I'm very grateful that being at the label gave me the opportunity to pursue fashion.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty amazing. Because I was really wondering as I was reading about your time at Chase Records, LaFace Records. I was like, so how does this relate to fashion? So yeah, it was so cool to see how these opportunities arose for you in that unorthodox way.
yeah, yeah, it was just important. And one of the things that I could say that, I've always had a drive. I've always not been afraid to put myself out there. I've always been, or I try to be very, um, you know, see opportunities and take advantage of those opportunities. That's not to say that I'm the most strategic person because, you can plan as much as you would like, but at the end of the day, there does have to be you have to make room for the magic. And if I call it the magic, I call it God. Some people call it the universe, but you have to put yourself in a position to let the magic happen. And that's what, thankfully, that's what happened for me. Like I said, it just sounded exciting to work at a record label. Like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let's try that. Let's do. And I can honestly say I didn't have full knowledge of who was on the face and who, of course, I knew who Babyface was. I had heard of Outkast. I had heard of, TLC. But when you
Yeah.
get in that environment, you like, oh, this is, for me, it was just like, oh wow, like this is a big deal. But I didn't
Yeah.
plan that. Like, oh, I plan to be a big deal
Right.
at
This
this
is like
record.
these are my 5 steps I'm
Right,
taking.
right, right. I didn't have any clue whatsoever that it was as big of a deal as it was until I was
Yes.
there, and I was just like, oh, this is serious. Like this is a big deal, and I'm thankful. I had a foundation. I already had an education. I'd already went to school for 4 years.
Hmm.
Um, I had my foundation also includes a strong work ethic. If you can ask anybody who knows me, I'm gonna put in 100% effort. I'm going to dedicate myself to seeing any project I work on from start to finish. So
Hmm.
I had those things in place. So those really helped propel me forward. It wasn't, a situation where I was looking to be handed anything
Yeah.
or I didn't know what to expect, and I think and I know I was okay with that. And I try to
Hmm.
make sure that I include that in my message when I talk to people about, pursuing your dream. You're not going to have all the answers.
Yeah.
You just won't. You won't have, and you can plan it out. Like I'm going to do this. Like you said, I'm going to take these 5 steps, and it should lead to
Hmm.
this. You have to be okay with not knowing and still going forward, and you got to be okay with not having all the answers, and that be okay. You got to just be okay with it, but have the faith that this is going to work out, even though
Yeah.
I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't
Right.
really know what this is for real, but I'm okay with it. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know my skills. So I'm gonna get in there and make the most of the opportunity. And thankfully,
Hmm.
that's what happened for me.
Wow, yeah, that really speaks so much to me right now because well, I didn't really mention this to you before, but I sing opera, and so opera performance is what I want to do for my career. And I just finished my master's, like my schooling, like maybe a year and a half ago,
Wow,
almost 2 years
congratulations.
now, and
Yeah.
it's been like right now I'm kind of in a phase where my 5 step plan is up.
Yeah,
And now I'm sort of like, so I know this is what I want to do and I want to keep doing this, but I don't know what my next steps are.
yes,
And um, I can be a little bit of a control freak with like, okay, I always want to be 1 step ahead. I always want to be planning stuff. And now I don't have nothing is planned. And it's that thing where I just have to have that faith and just keep going forward because I know this is what I
absolutely.
want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a part of pursuing goals and dreams that really has to be grounded in the love for the thing itself.
Mhm.
Um, I can say with all honesty, when I was at the label, it was not about money. I never that was never my thing. Maybe because I was younger, maybe because we didn't have no money growing up no way, so I wasn't like I got to make this much money or I have
Right.
to be seen in this way for
Yeah.
me. And I think it's important to just have love for the art, for the craft of the thing, where
Mhm.
I love it so much. And it sounds cliche, and I know a lot of people say that. I love it so much. I'm going to do this, whether it is the, world renowned success that we all want that as artists. We
Right.
all want to be accepted and rewarded for the work that we do.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, it was literally like I loved every aspect of that journey. If you told me I had to, so I'll use a real life example. I auditioned for Project Runway. I was the person I loved being in the line. Like I was like, all right, I'm in the line. I was that person. Like I'm in the line. The line is moving. Like I move, and this is back in the day before there was any internet to be
Right.
live streaming. But that was for me in my mind. I'm in the line. The line is moving. I'm going into the room. Oh, they gave me the number. I have the back. Like that's
Oh
me.
my God.
I was that person, and I still am that person in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So if I'm because my creative area is fashion, if I'm in the fabric store, I'm loving fabrics. I'm loving, that this flows this way, or this feels this way, or this
Mhm.
moves this way. And those moments is what will, for me, help propel me, keep me motivated, because it has to be something outside of people saying, oh, you're great. Oh, we want to,
Right.
we accept you. We recognize the passion and the love that you have for this thing. So come on in, and because that was honestly never going to be my journey. I know it now. I didn't know it
Mhm.
then, but that
Mhm.
was that was never a part of my journey. And the book was important to me because you hear those stories about a person who auditioned, like they auditioned one time and they got it, and then they end up being the star of the show, and then they're, on this whirlwind
Yeah.
of greatness. And for a lot of us, it just doesn't go that way.
It's not inspiring.
It's not inspiring. And what do you do in the disappointment of this isn't going the way that I thought it was going to go? Even with the book, I've talked to bookstores, independent bookstores. I've talked to publishers. I've talked to agents. Nothing but rejection. You want to know where I sell the most books and still to this day sell the most books? Hair shows. It's weird.
Really?
Yes, I just took a chance and was like, oh, the hair shows, they have a booth. Okay, I'm gonna go and sell this book. Not hair products, hair shows. And
What?
sell out of books.
You
And
know, sorry, go ahead, keep
no,
going.
go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, this might sound weird, but this makes me think of that show Girlfriends. That and I think her character, the character's name was Maya, and she
Maya,
wrote a
yeah,
book. Yeah.
yeah.
And one place that she really did well with was, I think, at her cousin Ronnie's hair store.
I forgot all about, and I love that show,
I
and I'm
know.
telling that show, and I forgot
Yeah.
all about that. But it was, I will do the book fairs, and
Yeah.
I will do the book fairs. I'll do okay at a book fair. I haven't had the. I still just have the most success in areas that are not focused as blatantly or as obviously as if it's a book fair, you think you'd be there selling books. For me,
Right.
I'm at a book fair, I'm selling okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm at a hair show and I'm selling books, I'm selling out. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not even the only book there sometimes, or the
Wow.
only non-hair product. But
Right.
it's just like, you being open to try something new, try something different, try something unorthodox, try
Mm-hmm.
something out of the box, and then for the love of the thing, it'll still lead you by the love. You still love the thing that you're doing, but be
Yeah.
okay with this isn't going the way that I thought it was going to go or the way
Mm-hmm.
that I thought it should go, but it can still go. So
Right.
let's go with it.
That's awesome. And I feel like, I don't know, the thought to me of writing a whole book sounds like a really big kind of decision. I don't, how did you even come to the decision that you were going to write a book?
So I had so many. I honestly, I knew a lot of the experiences I was having were unique.
Mm,
When I had the opportunity to sit with people who were working in fashion, whether they were working the retail side or whether they were working behind the scenes or whatever avenue that they were working in, I knew my experiences that I were having. I said, this is unique. Like this is nobody else is really having this kind of journey that I have spoken to. And so it was just like, you should really sit down and write this stuff down. Like you should write it down. Um, After I had began to do wardrobe for artists on the record label, it was like I was getting calls to do a lot of fashion work. We need a stylist. We need and like I didn't know what a stylist was. So having the opportunity to work as a wardrobe stylist
mm-hmm.
was like, it was exciting. It was I could still use the same skill set, the same
Yeah.
instincts. And actually, I started writing the book while I was a wardrobe assistant on tour with the Ebony Fashion Fair. I was assistant
Oh,
on the very last tour of the Ebony Fashion Fair. And we had a lot of downtime on the bus as we're traveling and in hotels. And it was just like, I should start. Honestly, this is what happened. So we had a Christmas party on
mm-hmm.
the tour. We had a Christmas party before we all went home for tour, and they were like, "Okay, we're going to have entertainment." We were in this conference, a ballroom at the hotel.
Right,
They were
right.
like, "We're going to have entertainment," and I was just like, "What kind of entertainment are we going to have?" And the models had monologues and dances and like,
Hmm?
yeah, they had like dances and songs that they had came up with and whole all out performances, and I was like, "Is that all your guys?" We're in the room like eating pizza, watching the Daily Show. I was like, they did a production. It's like after the show. And so that is what I was like, I'm gonna start being productive too. And I got a notebook and literally started writing longhand in the notebook after the shows, in the hotel, on the bus.
Hmm.
And that's how the book got started. And because I was
Wow.
just like, wow, like these people are
Yeah.
being super productive.
So creative.
Literally after shows, I would be in my room chilling, and my roommate, no, and my roommate from Fashion Fair, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, like she's an Emmy award winning editor, film editor now. Like she's that's what I'm saying, like being around these super productive people. But
Wow.
in our room, she and I would be in there like eating pizza and like watching the Daily Show, acting silly and like, and she's plotting to take over the whole film
Oh
industry
my
and editing. And I was just
gosh.
like, okay, I need to be productive too. So
Right.
that's how the book came about. And
Right.
once I started, it just kind of poured out. It was
Yeah.
very, it was like a little bit of a therapy to get it all out
Hmm. Hmm.
and
That
to
makes
write it
sense.
all down. And then also to think about the journey itself, where it had led me. Because starting as an intern, um, and eventually moving to LA and
Hmm.
working in LA on wardrobe as an assistant stylist, and working for designers in LA. I ended up working for
Hmm.
a designer in LA. Um, that journey just really led me from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. And there wasn't necessarily there that was never the plan. I wanted
Right.
to have, I wanted to have my own fashion line, and I wanted to, I had it mapped out in my head, but
Hmm.
the journey took me in a completely different direction, and it was just like I'm gonna follow it. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what it took. That's what it took to get to, you know,
Wow.
have those experiences, being open to those experiences.
Right. That's great to hear because a lot of people, me included, it's like I kind of since I've had this dream of being an opera singer since I was young, then and like seeing or reading about all of the famous opera singers that I've grown to like love and who've inspired me to kind of do what I want to do, seeing their journeys, it's like, okay, so that's what is going to happen for me. That's the path
Yes,
that I'm
a
on.
hundred
That's
percent.
what I'm
Yes,
trying to go for. Um, but then, it doesn't always work out like that, and that's okay. But sometimes
and
it's hard to come to terms with it's okay. That's okay to not be on that set path that a lot of people have gone on. Like it's
yeah.
okay to kind of go your unorthodox way. And if you don't end up being a famous opera star at the Metropolitan Opera, that's okay. It's,
Or you end up being a famous opera singer at the Met, but in
mhm.
a completely different way than you thought it would be.
Right,
And
right,
that's okay. And recognizing in that moment, I'm singing at the Met. Like I'm literally an opera singer.
right.
At the Met. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's and then the other side of it, there's a cultural pressure. You have to do all of these things while you're young.
Right. That is such a thing now, especially talking to a lot of my other friends about what they're doing with their careers. And, we kind of talk, wow, I feel like everybody else is doing all this stuff. And then you see celebrities, how young are they? And they're already like famous, making it, doing, all of these amazing things.
Yes.
And I feel like that's such a strong thing in
Mm-hmm.
our culture that like you just have to do it while you're young. Like you have to keep going at it and like do the grind and all of this stuff. But then I realized, probably 95% of your time is gonna be on the journey
Yep.
to the 5% of like, okay, I made it. Like this is where I want to
Yes.
be, sort of
Yes.
thing. And so
Yes.
you have to enjoy the journey that you're on and just be able to um, realize that you're not always gonna have a straight path. And it's
Yes.
probably not even as fun to have a straight path. What's the fun of that?
Right. Yeah, because you don't, you might not end up with a book full of adventures, or you may
Right.
not end up, interviewing other artists for and being
Hmm.
inspired as you interview those people and talk to those people. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a that pressure we have to release ourselves.
Mhm.
You go in there and you're able to bring the purest form of your creativity, of your love, of your
Mhm.
work, of your art, because that's not clouding it with that pressure to,
Right.
I must, because the
Yeah.
confidence to even get in the line and audition
Hmm.
and go and still have the belief that this is going to work out. This is going to,
Yeah.
it'll, if it works out, it's fine. If it doesn't work out, that's still a workout because
Yeah.
right, like I
I think.
tried.
That's it was great for me to hear just now because I feel like I haven't really come to terms with that yet. Yeah, but I mean, the thought of that, like, if things that you've planned, things that you're working on right now don't work out right now, I mean, that's okay. That's life. That's just part of the journey. And you just
Yeah.
keep going on with what you love to do, and eventually you find your way.
Think about all of that experience you get to bring to the next experience, the next
Right.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether no matter what it is, no matter what I've learned all of these new steps. I've learned and sharpened my skill in this
Hmm.
way. So now here's another audition. That could be a big deal, like this audition or this speaking to this next agent, speaking to this next publisher. Like this is
Yeah.
really a big deal. I have a whole new set of skills that I didn't have for the first one that I
Right.
could bring to the table.
I feel like that's something that most people, even if they're not artists, can take away as well. Just the small successes and small steps that you take towards the bigger goals. If you
Yes.
focus on that, then I mean, it even makes that whole journey more worthwhile.
Yes.
And
100%.
yeah, for
Yes.
you. I actually
It,
just made a vision board for myself for 2023
love it.
so that I could put some, small achievements for myself. So then when I see that, I'm like, I'm growing, I'm doing
Yes.
things, and it motivates you and inspires you on your sort of bigger journey that you're on. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna step into my little therapy bag for a minute because I'm a proponent of therapy, and so I take a lot of what try to take as much as I can from a therapy.
Hmm.
But the practice of joy, the practice of celebrating,
Hmm.
there is really a I hate this. I don't want to say there's a push in our culture, but our culture does not promote that as much. We
Yeah.
don't promote that. Your small victories, because they really are small victories.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times we don't practice a celebration, we don't know how to celebrate when it's time to celebrate. Like it's
Yeah.
time to be happy. I'm uncomfortable with that feeling because I don't practice it.
Yeah.
We have to begin to allow the joy to wash over. And it feels weird. Like,
Hmm.
I'm happy. Oh my God. Let me sit in that. And you're just sitting in it like, nothing's wrong right now. I'm okay.
Yeah, honestly, that does sound a little bit weird because
It
I'm
sounds
like,
weird.
okay, you can be happy, but like, what's the next thing? Like, what are you doing next? Always moving on
Always
to that
pushing
next
forward,
thing,
always
right?
moving forward, always zooming. We will zoom past happy, marinate in fear and worry and disappointment. We will marinate
Uh,
in fear and worry and
you
disappointment.
see something that you might want to apply for or audition for, but you just think, I just don't know if I'm ready for that. I just don't know if I'm gonna get in. So, like, maybe you just don't even give it a chance when Hey, you could be the best person there.
You could be the most amazing person there.
Yeah.
I've applied for stuff that I was scared to apply for, got it, and they were like, "Yeah, we only had 3 applicants." Like, say what? We
Oh
only
my
had three
gosh.
applicants. What? Are you serious? Nobody applied. You were the only one who applied. I was the only one who applied, and I was
Oh
scared.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why when I was reading your book, I was like, man, she's done so many things. She's just jumped at it. And that's like so many amazing things happened because of that, because you just took the risk.
Just take the risk, and that's what I want to encourage anybody
Mm,
that's creative, that's an artist, whether it's music or fashion or you dance or whatever, maybe you sculpt or paint. If that's what you love and that's in you, it's in you for a reason.
yeah.
Fuel yourself with, I'm going to do this because I love it.
Hmm.
I found doing it for money doesn't work because the money dictates if it's a success or not.
Hmm.
You could have bomb art that you never get paid for, but the love and the creativity and honing your skills and keeping your finger on the pulse of what's happening in your particular
Yeah.
genre or your area is what will feed your soul. Like I know what that is when I see it. I know what will be good. I know what will be good. And then having the wherewithal to be like, I'm gonna be good, whether I'm gonna express this creativity, whether I get the big thing or not,
Hmm.
whether
Hmm.
I get chosen or not. Nobody ever chose me for fact, never. Oh,
Hmm.
we want Maisha. I never got that call. Like, we have to have you. You
Right.
have to come and we're gonna, you tell us your price because we have to have you. That has never been my experience.
Mm.
But I've had excellent, amazing experiences because I say to myself, I love doing this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do my best at it, and I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. And you've been so successful in so many different ways that, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but from what I've seen and from what I've read, I mean, I was reading this and I was like, man, I really gotta ask her some questions about like how to make it or something, because that's really what it seems like from my point of view, that you've done so many amazing things already, and like opportunities have led you to other opportunities, and connections have led you to other connections, and all of this stuff. I'm like, wow, she is a real professional, and this just seems amazing. One of my questions actually was, um, how maybe when did you feel like you went from kind of amateur fashion designer or stylist to actually feeling like you were a professional, if there
I,
was?
I was about to say, I don't know if I ever. I don't know if I ever
Like, thought about it that way?
thought about it that way. I know, like, when I think of, I'll say this, when I think of like fashion professionals, I think of like, people like June Ambrose and like the great, late, great Andre Leon Talley and like,
Mhm.
I think of people like that. I think,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I never put myself in that, even
Sort of
close
category, kind
to
of.
those kind of categories.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe because of my experience have been so much of me, having to strive.
Mm-hmm.
I have to strive in order to be able to thrive. Not saying that they haven't, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe because my career hasn't been as glossy, I might not consider
Okay,
myself
yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, because when you see them, their careers seem more glossy. Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I will say I know I handle myself professionally.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. That's actually that's really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because there's I can't even say that there's a fine line or a line between amateur and professional. Like, well, yesterday I was an amateur, today I'm a
Right.
professional, sort of thing.
Exactly. And I don't think being paid for your work
Even makes
can
you,
will make you a professional more than you
yeah,
are amateur. I will
okay.
say I feel comfortable saying I'm experienced. I feel
Okay,
comfortable saying I have experience. I am experienced.
okay,
So that may mean I'm professional, but
okay.
um I don't know. I
Yeah,
when I
maybe
think
that
of
was kind of
fashion,
a
right? When I
hard
think of
question.
fashion professionals, I think like they have like their career seems so glossy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, that makes sense. Um, and like maybe, and that's not even, most people don't have that sort of glossed over kind of career. It's maybe more of even a subtle kind of
yeah,
experience or professionalism in a way.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm professional as far as how I handle myself,
Yeah.
how I conduct my business.
Hmm.
Absolutely professional. After we get past the love, then let's have a money conversation. Like, okay, so what's the budget, and how
Right.
much are we getting paid, and what do we need to allocate to this and that and the other? So there's those kind of conversations that
Yeah.
may seem more professional, but I don't know if I ever
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever
Yeah.
saw myself or see myself in that way.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
talking about that sort of money, I remember reading some crazy stories in your book about, um, sometimes people try to jip you with the
yeah,
money
oh yeah,
kind of
people are trying. They
situations.
they
Like
want you
you're,
to do it for the love
yeah,
and the
yeah,
name of the person,
craziness.
yeah, and not
Um,
pay you. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I was just wondering, I mean, you had a lot of very wild stories in here. Was there any like crazy story that was like the craziest story or the most interesting kind of story maybe that you could share?
I mean, it was all wild and
It was,
crazy.
yeah, there was a lot.
It
Maybe
was
one of
all,
your favorite stories or instances that you could share with the viewers if they haven't read your book yet.
um, my favorite. Well, one of my favorite experiences is when I meet um really famous, big name, accomplished celebrities, and they are really down to earth.
Mm,
I love that. That is
yeah.
the most fun. So I've had a chance to work on a couple of Essence covers. So the magazine covers, I've had a chance
Yeah.
to work as an assistant and work and do wardrobe, like create garments. And because she's like in the spotlight right now, I mean she's always in the spotlight. But I had a chance to create a garment for Angela Bassett and work with her on the Essence cover, and with all of her accolades and
Yeah.
nominations and awards, she is literally like your homegirl.
I love
And
that.
I was so nervous to like because
Yeah.
you're doing wardrobe, you're in intimate space with people.
Hmm.
So I was nervous. And she was just like girl, what's up?
That is so cool.
Yeah, and her husband, Courtney B. Vance. I had the opportunity to work with both of them and to meet them and like be around them for a time, and they were like so like, what's up? And I was
I
like,
love that. That is so cool. Like, wow, they're real
oh,
people.
yeah. So those are the times when it's just like I enjoy being able to say that. Like I met
Yeah.
so and so, and they were like just cool and down.
Yeah.
And I those are the people that even though you may not you probably won't see them all the time or work with them all the time, but I find myself still like rooting for her all the time, like yes, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for her, like she deserves that, because they're
Right.
good. I really enjoy when I've had the opportunity to work with big name people, and they are just so chill. It's all because you want to, people are hungry for the, oh, I hated her, she was horrible, or he was
Right.
terrible. Like people are hungry for that, they want that.
Hmm.
So I like it when I can say, nah, That's my girl. She good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
real good. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you also mentioned that you're working on finishing your second book. So can you talk a bit about what that one is going to be about?
Sure. So it's going to remain in the fashion vein, the vein of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a fictionalized version of the time that I was on tour with Ebony Fashion Fair.
Okay. Wait, so
Yeah.
what does that mean, fictionalized version of it?
So inspired by true events, but
Okay, okay.
embellished a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, inspired by true events, but embellished a little bit. And I got plenty of material while I was on the road. So
That is so cool. Oh, I
yeah,
can't wait for that one to come
thank
out
you.
so I
I'm
can read
excited
it.
about it.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share or talk about? I know we've talked about a lot already.
If anything, I just want to encourage people who have a vision and a dream for their life. It's okay if it doesn't land how you planned for it to. Keep going.
Hmm.
Don't stop. Keep going. Even if you take a break, don't beat yourself up about a break. Keep going. Believe in yourself. And whatever that belief in yourself looks like, believe in yourself because it's very rare to find someone to be like, I believe in you the same way you do. No.
Hmm.
So you need to, I want to just encourage people who create your art is it's needed that we
Hmm.
need that energy in the earth. We need that energy in our atmosphere, in our society. You never know, and be okay. Find a way to be okay with not knowing.
Yeah.
Find a way to be okay with, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know I love doing this. And
Hmm.
I'm going to do it whether it works out the way I thought it was or not. And be okay with that because you will be shocked. I'm still shocked to go to the museum and see my work.
Hmm.
Like, I'm shocked. People still want to talk to me about this book. It was 10 years ago
Hmm.
that I wrote this book. It's still selling. It still shocks me
Hmm.
to get, like I was telling one of my friends, and I'm gonna keep it brief, but I was telling my friends it was a couple months ago, and Amazon was like, "We're gonna deposit money in your account." And I was like, "This is a scam." No, it's people buying books. I really thought I was like, "This is a scam." Amazon, why would they be giving me money? You selling books, girl? Like the book is
Wow.
still, and I did it for the love. No
Hmm.
publisher, no agent, nobody was like,
Hmm.
"Oh yeah, we love this." But that doesn't mean don't put it out there.
Yeah.
Put it out there. You love it. If nobody else love it, you love it.
Hmm.
And be okay with that. Like, it's okay. I love it. I'll talk about it. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. I love
Yep.
it. So be okay with that. I want to encourage my artists. Be okay with that. Love it yourself.
Hmm.
It's okay. We got each other.
Yes. Amen. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for all of you guys who watched this video. Please check out Maisha's book, I Just Wanted to Be a Fashion Designer. It's on Amazon.
It's on
Go get
Amazon.
that. And I'll see you in the next video.